The panel will discuss God, family, and the country in court. Does it have a chance? The rights of the individual patriot in our courts. Each of us will handle different topics. Each of us have had experience in different fields. I will introduce our panel and ask them to come forward as I introduce them. First member of the panel I'm going to introduce is a man known to many of you. And that is General Clyde Watts. It's hard to introduce the General Watts because he is a soldier and a lawyer. The soldiers say he's a good lawyer, and he has represented Dan Smoot and General Walker, and has won. And the lawyers say he's a good soldier, and he is. But I'm reminded of the story of the three men who were fishing in the Florida Gulf Stream between Bimini and Miami. And they lost their power. And they could see land off in the distance. One was a doctor, one was a lawyer, and one was a preacher. They decided that one of them was going to have to swim to land because they were being carried out to sea. The doctor said, "I can't do it. I have too many people. It's too risky." So he looked out and he saw that between their boat and the land was a school of sharks with their fins cutting the water. The doctor said, "I can't do that. That's too risky, and I'm needed to heal many people who are depending upon me for their life and health." And the preacher said, "I would go, except I have so many people back home who are depending upon me for their salvation." And the lawyer said, "I'll go." And with that, he jumped in the water, and the sharks parted and made a path as he made it to the shore. And the minister said, "A miracle, a miracle." The doctor said, "No, that's what we call professional courtesy." It's my pleasure to introduce General Watts, a real shark.
John, I thank you for that semi-pro courtesy. That lawyer just thought he got professional courtesy. In your story, John, the way I remember hearing it told was that these poor sharks, in lieu of separating and letting the poor old lawyer through, formed a perfect V and escorted him to shore. Now, if I were escorted to shore even by a school of sharks, I'd feel not only grateful but deeply impressed. Now, the problem is, as far as I'm concerned tonight, I was due in here at 3 o'clock to have a long session with John and get prepared to really put some punch in this speech tonight. The weather was a little sour between here and Oklahoma. I was flying a Bonanza, and yesterday afternoon, it was on autopilot. My son was pushing it along, and I was asleep, of course. My wife thumped me over the back of the head. The aircraft had suddenly gone out of control. So we looked, and the pressure pump that controls the the gyroscopic instruments and the autopilot had quit work. I guess it was getting a little battle fatigue, kind of tired, so we had to knock off at Indianapolis last night, have that fixed. As you were, we had to drop off at Springfield, Missouri, and have the gyro pump fixed. So this morning, leaving Indianapolis, the weather was bad. We had to come in on instruments, and lo and behold, our transponder, the little inbuilt radar, had suddenly developed battle fatigue and quit working. So we had to kill 2.5 or 3 hours there getting that fixed, and as a result, I did not get a chance, John, to come in here and get your briefing and find out what I was going to talk to you wonderful people about tonight. But anything to do with the law, I have lived it for so long, even to a group as capable as this. There are so many things that I could not resist saying that I feel that before the evening's out, I'll give you some words of wisdom that I hope you can take home with you. And John, even with your battleground of experience, I think between the two of us we can hatch up perhaps some ideas. Now, how much of this is going to be developed between us, and how much of it should we just go ahead and make a little speech and a presentation on?
Well, General, let me at this time introduce our next guest.
Okay.
And then we will assign topics and open it for discussion.
That sounds a whole lot better. Then I'll be thinking up something red hot to tell him.
Good. Thank you, General. Now, our next guest is a professor of law at Notre Dame University School of Law. He's originally from this area in Massachusetts. He is an expert on the legal aspects of such constitutional issues as freedom of religion, the rights of the unborn children, and your right to drink water that is free from toxic fluoride. It's a pleasure to introduce to you, from South Bend, Indiana, Professor Charles Rice.
John asked me to say a few introductory words, and then we'll start the panel. So here I go. A few introductory words, and then we'll start the panel. Okay.
Professor, I'm not ready for you yet. That's not the way we rehearsed it. We're not going to follow any particular format.
Fred is here.
Oh, he is here?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad. Well, our next guest is no stranger to this convention. He is a constitutional trial lawyer from Alton, Illinois. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Fred Schlafly.
Happy to be here. Proceed to the meeting.